Hello and welcome to Survival of the Thickest, where this week we hope that those who disagree with the Paris Agreement will be naturally selected against.
Oh, okay.
That was my, yeah.
I don't know. You've really gone above and beyond this week. So
It's
like,
quite a
he's got like notes, which never happens. We don't
Well,
really.
I tried notes this week.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was like, what with all the politics that's gone on recently, why don't we just make a little, what scientific politics things have happened? And that was Mr. D. Trump deciding to...
It's funny you should say that, because in the sort of leading up to making this that we've done today, I sort of had a look. I'll see if I've got anything to say, because you wanted to do this, not that I knew.
Yeah.
But I found another thing. Also Trump related,
Oh.
although this one is even more outlandish.
Go on then. Get on with that. It's topical.
This will not take as long.
Okay.
But are you sure you don't want to have a quick? How did your exams go? How you feeling about that whole?
I think they went
situation?
all right.
Yep, me too. All right, okay.
There we go.
So
sorted. Full stop. Donald Trump, go.
Well, no. You'll have to give me just a second. Okay, right. A biology professor, right, says that Trump's presidency
Nice.
will permanently alter human genetics.
Right. Go on then. Off you go.
Okay, this is quite the long shot.
Right.
I think surely even he must admit. But what he's suggesting is that we're very aware of selection pressures, right?
Yep.
Certain stresses. Well, this Trump presidency is apparently in itself a stressful enough situation that people will naturally, like... He mentioned superhumans in this article.
Oh.
Well, to be fair, I'm putting that down to him. I'm guessing that's probably just media being the media.
Right.
I hate to say fake news about a Donald Trump article, but this might just be a reasonable candidate.
Okay, I'm a little confused, but go on. Like, so
Well, he's saying that sort of significant traumas like military combat or abuse can cause permanent changes to the genome. Now, I get that.
Yeah.
Because if your family has been in military combat for years, like traits such as, I don't know, like bleeding slower, like as morbid as that is, it's feasible, right?
Yeah, of course.
So what we're saying, sorry about that, but what he's saying is, could you have people that are sort of biologically better equipped for
dealing
stress,
with a annoying
like sort of stress anomalies
and all the things that come with it, and that on a mad one, that the people who just can't deal with Donald Trump, they don't have the mental capacity to breed anymore, and then they die out, and then we're just left with people that go, I just do not care about Donald Trump and any of this rubbish. You know what? I'd actually quite enjoy that. That would make the last 3 weeks of the general election build-up a lot less stressful and annoying if people that didn't care about politics were the only ones that were left.
You were the superhuman.
Because you don't care about politics. Well, that was an interesting article there. So, what I wanted to talk about, you did probably see it on the news. I wanted to talk about my 9-mile crack.
Okay, what is this innuendo leading to then?
Well, there's a huge 9-mile crack, and I just thought we can't not talk about a 9-mile crack. I mean, we've all wanted to see one of those before.
Have we now?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So, as much as we...
you might be able to hear that we're all a bit tired. It's been a long couple of months.
Basically, as much as I love to really critique the geosciences as not being a science...
This week, no, I couldn't disagree more.
This week, we are going to do a little bit of geology, kind of, I believe. So, have you heard of Larsen C?
Larsen Sea.
No.
If I had to guess, I'd probably say, is it like, given that I know we're talking about climate change, is this going to be sort of one sort of north of Canada or within Canada, sort of Greenland area?
Well, you're on the right tracks, but unfortunately, you're on the wrong side of the Earth.
It'd be Russia then.
No, we're actually talking about Antarctica.
Oh, well, I've made a fool of myself, haven't I?
Slightly. So, Larsen Sea is the name of a 50,000 kilometre square ice cap that is in Antarctica. It's on the west side, even. And there recently was a new, as I've said, 9-mile crack that developed across the ice cap. Well, it's called an ice shelf, because essentially what happens is there's a section of ice that runs out over the ocean, or over the sea, that's not, like, there's surface, but there's not anything underneath it, essentially. So there's a long crack where the ice cap is starting to come away from the rest of Antarctica.
Is this a developing crack?
This is a developing crack.
Or a brand new crack?
No, it's a developing crack.
So we've gone from crack level 900 meters, or no, we've got there. And we've come from
I believe it was in May this year, so the new crack developed, essentially. But there's already a big crack there. I'll explain. So essentially, right now, there is a very long. I have a shot every time we say crack. A very long crack already, and it used to run parallel to, I believe, called the Weddell Sea. It's in around Antarctica. However, as of the past month or so, the crack has taken a diversion and is now only 8 miles away from the sea itself. Now, of course, this is the end of the line, which means that once it hits the sea, you're going to have one great big iceberg, essentially.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So it used to run parallel, but now it's changing direction, and it's only got 8 miles between.
So it's sort of chopping a chunk off the ice shelf, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this is not the first time this has happened. As I said, this is Larsen C, and Larsen B was a similar ice shelf.
Oh my word! I'm sat there thinking Larsen C as in SEA.
No, this is Larsen C as in ABC.
As in the letter C.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I'll be the only one to fall into that trap.
Well, I've got you there. Anyway, so Larsen A, I don't know too much about, but Larsen B, in around, I believe, the 2000 time, maybe a bit later, was a name of another ice shelf that also eventually did snap off of the main part of Antarctica.
When was that, sorry?
2002, actually.
I
wrote it down, 2002. Now, one of the interesting things about this, I believe, is that it tells us a lot about what goes on under the surface. Because when Larsen B broke away, it revealed a chemotrophic ecosystem underneath.
Cool.
And that ecosystem survived on methane and hydrogen sulfide and that sort of thing. And that was kind of the end of that story. But until recently, Peter Doran, I believe his name was, from the University of Illinois, around the 2000 era, said that if we can find like a ecosystem, then there must be like cellular life down there. But at the time, he didn't have the resources or time, money to prop up his rather big statement. So as Larsen C, the recent ice crack, developed, I thought I'd have a look into what these ice shelves are about. And in 2014, after 10 years and apparently £10 million or dollars, singular-celled organisms were found underneath an ice cap. Not Larsen B or C, but another ice cap.
Okay.
Peter Doran, or Professor Doran, I guess, he set out 3 kind of like objectives that he wanted to do. Because obviously you could probably send like a drone or a cell down, like a
sort of submarine.
Yeah,
drone,
to have a look, go, oh yeah, there's single-celled life, and then go back up again. But he was like, nah, I want to confirm this properly. So he said he wanted to be able to see the cells under a microscope.
Yeah, because that's, if you can see sort of a moving speck or whatever, it's all very well and good. But like, to be able to take it to the microscopic level and go, okay, we've got some mitochondria there. Yeah. There's its nucleus.
Yeah. Following on from that, he wanted to feed whatever he found down there organic matter that was the other thing he wanted. And
I thought they were chemotrophic.
That was this is not the same thing essentially.
Okay.
He wanted to, of course, single-celled organisms in the sense of beyond just.
Well, that was the thing. Under an ice shelf, I was imagining they could be any number of years old. They could be really, really old, and of course, we could postulate that the first life was a sort of chemotrophic organism, one that could sort of produce its own organic matter from inorganic materials that's not light and CO2 from photosynthesis. So one that is sort of consuming organic matter relies on a food chain, doesn't it? It is a secondary consumer, at least.
So I'm guessing that's more the thing he was looking for, because he also wanted to see, or at least find, cellular ATP. That was also one of his 3 objectives.
Okay.
So essentially, that meant that he couldn't just pop down there in a sub. So that 10 million was spelt on.
He had to come back with some. Yeah.
Yeah, that 10 million was spelt on one great big drill.
Nice.
So I just thought that was interesting.
Right.
And the other thing,
what? So the fact that the globe is getting warmer,
allows
us to sort of explore
new
areas.
First of all, it's great that even after however long the human race has existed, or however long we've cared about science enough, we are still finding new ecosystems and new organisms.
To be honest, I'm totally unsurprised by that.
Well, no, obviously there's still much that hasn't been explored.
This is a cool one, don't get me wrong, because it's like an ice cap.
Yeah.
Slightly, of course, it's politically negatively charged, obviously.
Well, we'll get on
the
to
whole
that.
global warming issue, which we will, But yeah, I'm unsurprised that we're finding new stuff. But it's a cool
place to find stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, this isn't actually linked to global warming. Neither is the giant crack. I know. I thought it would be, but no. Apparently it's a natural kind of iceberg movement kind of thing. So.
What sort of tectonic plates and stuff?
That sort of thing.
Okay.
However.
See, that was the thing. I wanted to put it to bed because we don't want to be quickly put down as climate change deniers or anything. Just it's actually just a natural process.
Yeah.
Why is everyone so worried? Let me drive my Fiesta, thank you.
I've seen the way you drive for your Fiesta. You're definitely contributing to those polar bears losing their homes.
Oh well.
So in terms of what this impact has had, the research done of this single-celled organisms under ice shelves. Basically, it's the reason why they did it, or the excuse essentially, because that's all what scientists need—an excuse. They just want to find out, but they need to give a reasoning why they want to spend all that money.
Well, yeah, there's that opens a whole new debate that I did an essay on this year.
Yeah.
That's the whole basic research versus applied research.
Yeah.
Should it be justified, or should it have to be justified? Anyway, that's another thing.
The moon of Europa.
The moon of Europa.
It's one. I don't know if you did. I actually did a space module this past 2 semesters. Pretty good. It's basically one big ice cap, essentially. So.
Right. So there's no other material.
It's all just. I mean, there's probably rock in there as well, but it's icy, essentially.
You wouldn't want to go there on summer holiday.
No.
You'd be disappointed.
It would go really well with a glass of Coke, really cool your drink down, but...
It's a big glass of Coke,
big glass of
but... And also, don't warm it up because then your drink will get all gravelly.
Yeah.
With what does remain of that.
Yeah. Anyway, it just leads to the possibility that life can exist in these circumstances, under the ice.
Does it? All right, so under the ice where there is water.
Yes, of course. But
all right, but if it's water only, if there's no water. Well, I mean, but
you can't really have ice without water at some point.
Yeah.
And obviously, when we think of life on other planets, you think like water, like on the surface. But what if like there was water underneath the surface?
That's actually far more plausible because water is like that weird magical substance that is densest at 4 degrees.
Yeah.
So frozen ice.
Yeah, it's less dense than water.
Yeah. So that's why it floats. So water comes underneath.
Which leads us very nicely back onto Larsen C, which is the name of the to-be iceberg,
rather than a body of water in the sort of Greenland area.
Yeah. It won't change the sea level
because it's still a piece of ice.
Yeah.
On top.
I mean, it's a 50k meter square piece of ice, but it's just a piece of ice. It's just going to float.
I mean, of course, it's not going to affect the sea levels at the moment,
but it might melt now because obviously,
it's a bit more open. It's not attached to a sort of bigger mass.
All it will do, though, is apparently that area of the Antarctica is quite a lot of glaciers there, and the glaciers run across this to be iceberg, essentially. So obviously when the iceberg snaps off, the glaciers will like disappear quicker, essentially, because you just got rid of half of it. So like in terms of what this is actually gonna happen, what this is gonna cause, it's not too bad. It's not like, you can't drive your Fiesta, but there is.
Thank God.
And the other thing is, this is not the first time something like this has happened. As I said, there's A, B, and C, these 3 different areas. The Haley Station, do you know? Is it? I'm guessing it's Haley. It'd be embarrassing if it's not.
Antarctic?
That is the Antarctic Survey Centre. Basically, I didn't realise. I imagined that they built it and it's been there for however many years and whatever. There's actually, this is the one they've got there at the moment. It's actually the 6th generation. All the 5 previous ones have either been destroyed or left.
Well, yeah, they probably can't keep it there, can they? And like when you're doing research in Antarctica, like time sort of is of the essence, I would imagine. So I'm not.
The reason why is because these ice shelves are
so sort of movable.
Yeah, that they're like moving.
It's funny, you don't instinctively think, and I don't know why I should be at least a bit surprised, because the idea of tectonic movements moving like full land masses,
is obviously a thing.
I mean, I guess it's just because you're so separated from the poles.
I don't know. There's a lot of them coming over here.
For God's sake.
Anyway, the Haley Station, the one that's there now, is actually being moved because of shifts of ice caps and shelves and stuff like that. And they basically built skis for it. Well, like they actually designed it with skis on. This is where we should have Hayden on. It's basically like a ski, and they've got these tractors, and these tractors have dragged it, I think, about 23 kilometres across Antarctica to a better place. So they do have an impact, these ice shelves. But I don't know if you saw. I'm sure you saw the picture. Did you not see the picture?
No.
Oh well, I was going to see if I can put it as a thumbnail because it's a pretty cool picture. Of like it's out of the window of the plane that they were like taking the pictures with, obviously, and it just shows this massive like gorge in the ice, and it like stretches on forever. Actually, to put this to scale, the Larsen C like ice shelf, the crack is as long as the entire south coast of Wales. Like, there's a great picture that shows them to scale, like all the way from England, to like the furthest westerly point. One giant crack. So there you go. That was the 9-mile crack.
Well, look,
of Antarctica.
You've done the geological part. What's the what brings Trump into this? What's the sort of political background to
the
this?
Political bit was just entirely to do with the fact that he said about the Paris Agreement and that he's pulled out of it and he's a bit of an idiot. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. He is an idiot. Did you see President Macron's? Is it Macron?
President Macron.
That's it.
Well, I mean, he's
got a French name. I'm going to mispronounce
We're choosing different pronunciations. Neither of us are French.
No. President Macron. I'll never do that again.
Cheers. What when he said, "Let's make our world great"?
Yeah,
again.
like make the world great again.
I loved that. I thought that is simultaneously a dig.
Did you know
he's made himself look really cool?
Did you know he became the most retweeted Frenchman of all time?
With
that tweet.
When he said that?
With that picture, yeah, of make the world great again.
That is awesome. It makes me sad, really, because that well-deserved good tweet. I dread to think what the most retweeted
tweet of all time
is. It's
isn't
probably,
it that picture
it's probably
of...
like drama, like internet drama.
No, I'm sure. Isn't it that picture of that Ellen DeGeneres took at like one of these award ceremonies, and it's got like all those celebrities in? I think it's that.
Rings a bell.
But that's ever so slightly off topic.
Well, no, but I just thought it would be like. Well, I mean, in a sense,
I'm not being funny.
In a sense, it does sort of belittle like the importance and how cool I find Macron's point there, and then you know the most popular thing will out.
Yeah,
it is like just celebrities. It's high school all over again. The clever people never get the recognition they deserve.
No. Well, anyway, that was what I thought was the biggest thing to see recently, and I didn't know much about ice shelves and whatever, so you know.
Now I just know a little bit more.
Well, it's yeah. Who cares about deserts? Antarctica's and is it like Antarctica is a desert or something like that?
Yeah,
like by definition.
I mean, technically it's a tundra, so or is it?
Oh, no, I'm sure it's a desert. I can't remember what. Actually, this leads very on. I know we skipped over the exams bit, but one of my essay questions was about deserts, and I didn't actually talk about Antarctica or that kind of desert. I did go down the more cliche Sahara route.
I mean, it is called the Sahara Desert. You wouldn't be faulted for...
No. But no, it's quite interesting because I have mentioned this to you, but the essay itself wasn't really... several questions, and the question wasn't about what you've been taught in your lectures. The question was more about, okay, let's test your knowledge, see what you've got going for you. Which is interesting. If you haven't done that before and you get to university, and then it really is a case of you are now a biologist. Okay, doesn't matter what you know about biology, it could come up. Everything you've ever read, every episode of
Attenborough.
Attenborough. I was gonna go with The Really Wild Show or Deadly 60. Every episode that you've ever watched, it all means something now, and it really emphasises like the importance of having educational media for young people and children.
What's funny is I do not get questions like that at uni. Like everything I'm asked, like it will have been brought up in some way.
No, but it's extended reading, isn't it? And you do that. You told me about that.
No, but that's extra readings get extra marks, but you like. No question is unanswerable outside the sort of lecture content.
No, true.
I wonder. Like, I don't want to say, is there something you've missed?
No, no, because in the lecture, this is where she did put a slide that did say, if you want to in your own time, have a look at some species adaptations for desert environments. So it was almost like she was saying, if you go out there and proactively research something beyond what you've been taught...
That's a freebie,
yeah,
essentially.
And it's like you deserve the reward of getting a question in an exam that's really specific to you. And because all I've been told this year is, don't worry too much about extended reading, but next year you really need to look at it. Like, and so that was probably them showing you the reaps of your... Sorry, the reaps? Is that the right word? Of your efforts.
Yeah, you're reaping the rewards
exactly.
of
extended reading. So, no, there you go. Well, this has come round full circle pretty quickly.
I was so keen to just move on from exams because it's only relevant to us. It's quite dull.
But still, I think for anyone that's listening that isn't sure about, like, I don't know.
I guess if you're worried that university will be too much like hard work, what we're sort of saying is you're not wrong, but hopefully, like,
you'd be surprised at how much you know about a subject.
If you like it, then you will surprise yourself. Yeah,
because naturally, like when you're on the internet, so let's say, for example, I talked about it's a type of snake that kind of glides across sand. Okay, now when I saw the exam question, I was a bit like, oh god, okay, a bit scraping the bottom of the barrel here. But then it just kind of came to me, and I was like, obviously as a child or whatever, I was flicking through television channels, and I saw Deadly 60 or The Really Wild Show or some other like children's wildlife show, and I must have put enough interest in to sit there and watch it. So, you know, I'm not an overly keen biologist. I like biology, but I'm not obsessed with it. But actually, it shows that even when I was a kid, I was like, oh, this is probably more interesting than, I don't know, Escape from Scorpion Island, or I don't know, whatever kids' TV shows were back in the day. Blue Peter. Actually, no, I did quite like Blue Peter. But there you go. So that's ice cracks and exams sorted out. So anyway, if you were interested in learning more about the Halley Station and the ice shelf, there's actually a program on BBC. I think this week. Now, obviously, I don't know when this podcast will come out. Hopefully this week. But check it out on iPlayer. And they talk about all the process of moving the station across the Antarctica. Obviously, that's engineering. But still, that's why I've talked about it a lot more. But no, give it a watch, certainly. I think we're there, I think
we're just about... done.
Yeah, we're coming out to... We keep it casual 1/2 an hour. We don't strive for goals. So
strive for world-class content here.
Well, hopefully. So that is, as we say, at the end of the university year. Have you enjoyed your second year?
I've enjoyed my second year a lot more than the prospect of doing third year next year. Well, that is terrifying.
True. Well, I don't know. I've enjoyed my first year. I'm glad it's over. I'm ready for the next challenge. Now that exams are over, obviously we can probably commit a little bit more time to podcasts. Perhaps they will be a little bit more frequent. Although we have stuff. Like we say, you've got like a kind of...
I've got work to do. In fact, development on that front, they're just like, start straight away. Start as soon as you can.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got a trip to Bangor on a field course, so I can talk about that. You've got your looking at corn, isn't it? Something like that?
Rapeseed, I think there'll be a lot of that.
You've got your rapeseed job. So I'm sure we'll keep everyone up to date with that. If this is the first time you're listening, if you could subscribe and drop us a like, it would be very appreciative. Otherwise, I guess we'll see you next time on Survival of the Thickest.